The bridge of the Celestial Harmony hummed with the typical sounds of a mixed-species vessel. The chittering of Zarath navigators, the deep rumbles of Catharian engineers, and the soft melodic tones of the ship's AI. Lieutenant Commander Jessica Chen stood at attention before Admiral Velkoth's command platform, her report tablet clutched in her hands, knuckles white with restrained fury. "This is unacceptable." Velkoth's translator device rendered his guttural language into cold, emotionless standard. The Krathian Admiral's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. A gesture Jessica had learned meant dismissal. "Your findings are irrelevant," Jessica's jaw tightened. "Sir, with respect, the structural weaknesses I've identified in the port fusion array could what, human?" Velkoth interrupted, his massive form leaning forward. "Teach a Krathian engineer whose species has been traversing the stars for 3,000 of your years about ship design?" A ripple of what might have been laughter passed through the alien crew members on the bridge. "Sir, the data clearly shows." Velkoth's primary manipulator extended with surprising speed, snatching the tablet from her hands. For a moment, Jessica thought he might review it. Instead, with deliberate slowness, he held it before the entire bridge crew. His claw moved across the screen, and Jessica watched her 3 weeks of meticulous analysis, her carefully documented findings, her potentially life-saving recommendations, dissolve into digital nothingness there, Velkoth said, returning the blank tablet. "Now your report matches its value." The bridge fell silent except for the ship's ambient sounds. Jessica felt every eye upon her, some sympathetic, most indifferent, a few outright hostile. She had seen this before, the casual dismissal of human contributions in a galaxy where humanity was still considered newcomers, barely 2 centuries into space travel while others had millennia of experience. "Understood, sir," Jessica said, her voice carefully neutral. She saluted with textbook precision, turned on her heel, and walked off the bridge with her head high, even as her insides churned with humiliation and anger. James Rodriguez found her 2 hours later in the observation deck, staring at the streaking stars of hyperspace. The senior systems analyst had served with Jessica for 3 years, and he knew that particular expression, the one that said she was doing complex calculations that had nothing to do with ship operations. "I heard," James said simply, settling beside her with 2 cups of something the replicator insisted was coffee. "Of course you did. The whole ship probably heard." Jessica accepted the cup but didn't drink. 3 weeks, James. 3 weeks of crawling through access tubes, running simulations, double-checking every calculation. And he just deleted it. "Velkoth's an ass," James said flatly. "Everyone knows it. The Krathians have been top dogs in the Galactic Coalition Navy for so long they think they're infallible." Jessica turned to face him, and James saw something in her eyes he'd never seen before. Not defeat, but decision. "I got a message today. Private contract offer. Terran corporate vessel, the Prometheus Initiative. They want a chief engineer. And 800,000 credits. 3-year contract. Full creative control over the engineering department." She paused. "It's an exploration vessel. Pure research. No military bureaucracy. No alien admirals. No being treated like a child who doesn't know which end of a plasma torch gets hot." James whistled low. That's a life-changing offer, Jess." "I know." She finally sipped the coffee and grimaced. "I joined the Coalition Navy because I believed in what it stood for. Unity across species. Cooperation. Learning from each other." She gestured vaguely toward the corridor leading to the bridge. "But how can we learn from each other when they won't even listen?" "So you're leaving?" It wasn't a question, and Jessica didn't treat it as one. "I submitted my resignation 10 minutes ago. Effective in 2 weeks when we reach Kepler Station." James was quiet for a long moment, staring into his own cup. Then he smiled, that crooked grin that had gotten them both through countless difficult situations. "You know what the funny thing is? That fusion array problem you found. I ran my own diagnostics after I heard what happened. You were right. The harmonic resonance patterns are degrading. We've got maybe 6 months before it becomes critical. Did you tell anyone?" "I tried. Got the same treatment you did." "Apparently humans don't understand real engineering." He stood, stretching. "For what it's worth, Jess, I think you're making the right call. The galaxy's a big place. Plenty of people out there who will actually appreciate what humanity brings to the table." 2 weeks later, Jessica stood in the departure lounge of Kepler Station, her service duffel slung over one shoulder, watching the Celestial Harmony preparing to disembark through the massive viewport. James had come to see her off, along with a handful of other human crew members and, surprisingly, a few aliens who'd worked closely with her. "Take care of yourself out there," James said, pulling her into a brief hug. "And when the Prometheus makes some revolutionary discovery that changes everything, remember the little people." Jessica laughed, the first genuine one in weeks. "I will, and James, when that fusion array fails, make sure you're nowhere near it." "Already put in for a transfer," he admitted with a wink. "Seems humans are good at reading warning signs. Even if nobody else wants to believe us." As Jessica boarded the shuttle that would take her to her new life, she allowed herself one last look at the Coalition vessel. Part of her, the idealistic part that had joined up straight out of the Mars Institute of Technology, felt like she was giving up, running away. But the larger part, the part that had learned hard lessons about pride, prejudice, and the long road to true equality, knew better. She wasn't running away. She was running toward something better, toward a future where human ingenuity, human determination, and human expertise would be valued, not dismissed. The Prometheus Initiative was waiting, and with it, 800,000 credits and the freedom to prove what humanity could really do when given the chance. 3 months later, the Celestial Harmony suffered a catastrophic fusion array failure that killed 12 crew members and crippled the vessel for 8 months. The investigation cited unforeseen harmonic resonance degradation, the exact problem Jessica Chen had identified in her deleted report. By then, Jessica was already 3 star systems away, designing the revolutionary new propulsion system that would eventually double humanity's exploration range and cement their reputation as the galaxy's most innovative engineers, Admiral. Velkoth never apologized, but then again Jessica no longer cared.